Welcome to councillors, members of the public and staff present in person, joining us online and watching via YouTube this evening. I declare this meeting of Bayside Council open at 7:05 p.m. Councillors and those present in the chamber are reminded to conduct themselves in a polite and professional manner, keep communication factual and use appropriate language and tone. Our council meetings are live streamed and recorded via YouTube. Please therefore treat everyone with dignity, respect, and do not use any defamatory or derogatory remarks. Defamation laws do apply to addresses in the public forum. Councillors are reminded, of course, of your obligations to conduct yourselves in a professional and respectful manner under the obligations of Council's Code of Meeting Practice in the interest of good governance and to adhere to meeting etiquette. All present are reminded that the YouTube video recording is an official record of Council and will be accessible via YouTube in accordance with the Code of Meeting Practice. No other recordings are permitted, and all present should ensure that there are no video recordings, audio recordings or photographs taken. In case of emergency, please follow the instructions of the Council staff, exit via the Town Hall foyer and proceed to the evacuation point. With that being said, I'd like to begin by acknowledging the Bidjigal clan, the traditional owners of the land on which we meet and work, and also acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. On behalf of Bayside Council, I pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. I now invite Father Ronaldo Vasola from St Therese Catholic Church, Parish Mascot to open our meeting in prayer.
Dear Lord, our loving Creator, we thank you for bringing us together for the meeting tonight. We ask your light on all those who are going to guide this meeting and all those who are going to have discussions and decisions, that everything concerning our Bayside Council may be really for the well-being of all the people under this council. We entrust to you all the needs of those who are here, expressing also their issues, that they may be heard in a good way, and everything decided is for the well-being of the population. We ask this in your love. Amen. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Father. Condolences this evening, councillors. We have two condolences tonight. First, Ballet Auntie Norma Sims, be known to many people around this table and across the broader community as a stalwart of the La Perouse Aboriginal community, a long-standing local Aboriginal elder. And on behalf of Bayside Council, I'd like to express our deepest condolences to the family, friends and community of Auntie Norma Sims. Auntie Norma was a Bidjigal and Darug elder. She was a long-time resident of La Perouse and held a deep and enduring connection to the community and also the Bay. Her life and legacy are woven into the story of our area and the people who continue to care for it. Many of you know the Sims family hold a profound place in the history of La Perouse with ancient and unbroken roots to coastal Sydney. Their ongoing connection to country and community continues to remind us of the strength, resilience and continuity of First Nations culture in this area, both predating and post-settlement and through the mission at La Perouse to today. Auntie Norma's passing is a great loss to all who knew her and to the wider community who benefited from her wisdom, generosity, enduring spirit and kindness. Bayside Council acknowledges her remarkable contribution and extends our heartfelt sympathy to her family and the community at this difficult time. Would any other councillors like to speak? Councillor Curry.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. I too would like to pass my condolences on. Auntie Norma was at a lot of our events and she really liked to come and be part of the community and had wonderful stories as well from, from her life and was very proud and really engaged. So condolences to her family.
Councillors, anything further? Thank you. Next, Valet Ellen Cannon. I'd also like to acknowledge the recent passing of Ellen. She was a long-standing and much-loved member of the Mascot RSL community. She was known for her kindness, commitment and many years of service to local veterans and their families. Her passing less than 5 months after that of her husband is a great loss to all who knew them both and the entire Mascot RSL community as well as the broader Mascot community. On behalf of Bayside Council, I'd like to extend our sincere condolences to Ellen's family and friends, as well as to the Mascot RSL community. Would any other councillors like to speak? Thank you, councillors. Just a couple of quick mayoral announcements. First of all, I'd like to congratulate one of our colleagues, Councillor Dusku, on her recent wedding and wish them all the best for the future. It looked fantastic. Also like to acknowledge that coming up this Saturday, we'll be hosting our very first Diwali event down at King Street, Rockdale, which I'm sure is set to be a fantastic night. Diwali is a great religious festival about the triumph of good over evil. It's an eternal celebration that I think can be enjoyed by everyone, and I think will become a major event on council's schedule. And another, just to finally, coming up a little further out, Greek Fest at Bryden Le Sands will be bigger and better than ever on Sunday the 16th of November. It was a fantastic event last year. Great credit to the Greek Orthodox community of Sydney, and I'm sure it's going to be bigger and better than ever, running from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. I think it'll be fantastic, and they're expanding the footprint, and I think it's going to be a fantastic day. Councillors, would anyone like to say anything further?
I just
Councillor
want to
Douglas?
take the moment to also congratulate our mayor and his wife, who have a beautiful baby, and so congratulations.
Thank you. So when I'm not functioning very well tonight, that's why. Just moving on to presentations, we have a number of community recognition certificates to present this evening. First of all, to Zyla Feenan. I'm delighted this evening to recognise Zyla, an incredibly talented young athlete from Bayside. He's recently represented boxing in the under 15 to 16 years division, of the junior division, at the Australian Schools Championship in Darwin, where he brought home a gold medal, which is just absolutely fantastic. He's now been selected by Boxing Australia to compete in an international tournament in Japan this December, which is a really remarkable achievement for someone so young, and I think we'll all be backing you. On behalf of Bayside Council, I'd like to congratulate Zyla and wish him every success as he continues to excel in this sport. I'd like to invite Zyla forward to accept this certificate of congratulations from Council, and any councillors who'd like to join us. He's really a remarkable young man. Congratulations. Next, we're recognising the Bexley Chamber of Commerce, who have recently celebrated more than a century of outstanding service to the Bexley community. The Chamber has shown great dedication in supporting local businesses, improving our town centre at Bexley, and advocating for solutions to local challenges, in particular recently the challenge of trucks along Forest Road. On behalf of Bayside Council, I'd like to thank the Chamber for its leadership, persistence and commitment to the wellbeing of our community, and I'd like to invite Chamber President Jeff Tulloch and also Vice President Yasmina Kovacevic, to please come forward and accept this certificate of congratulations from Council, and of course any councillors who would like to come forward. They're obviously much loved friends of Bayside Council.
Thank you. It is my honour to stand before Council tonight to accept this award on the behalf of past and present members of the Bexley Chamber of Commerce. I would like to thank Councillor Douglas for nominating us for the award and Mayor McDougall for accepting the nomination. I would also like to acknowledge my fellow committee members Yasmina and Anthony here tonight and thank them for their steadfast support over the years. We are now in our 102nd year as the Bexley Chamber. Businesses had very different challenges at our birth in the 1920s. Electricity only came to Bexley in 1920. There were no home phones, only public. Passenger cars only came into use in 1900. Many town centres and communities had a Chamber of Commerce or a Progress Association to promote town centre maintenance and growth. Notices of meetings were largely communicated through advertisements in local papers. Ours were the Propeller and the St George Call. The pace of life and business was much slower then. Over the years, we contributed to support our community in various ways. These are just some examples. In the early 1920s, just after the introduction of electricity, the Chamber paid for introduction of a white way, white as in the colour, to illuminate town centre footpaths. Secondly, running a spring fair in our town centre from 1998 until 2012. Thirdly, raising $650,000 to establish our community bank, which opened in 2004 at a time when all other financial institutions deserted Bexley. And we have our bank manager here tonight, Anthony Giorgio. Fourthly, advocacy to the government from 2019 to reverse heavy traffic through Bexley. Next, working with Bayside Council in recent years to upgrade our public domain. And lastly, a variety of networking events, including our recent and very successful Trivia Night. And you all have an invitation. It's next Tuesday. We're now in a much more connected community with the benefit of technologies that could not have been ever imagined in the 1920s. Whilst our role may have changed in response to technology, we continue to bind our community together through initiatives like our White Way, Spring Fair, Community Bank, networking events or advocacy to government. Chambers of Commerce are worthy of recognition and support from their community and government at every opportunity, and I thank the Council again for this award. Thank you.
Congratulations and thank you for all your work. Next, I'm delighted...
Mr Mayor, can I just give a comment to them?
Councillor Sarabanovsky. Sorry, if any councillors want to...
No, that's all good. Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'd like to thank Jeff and Yasmina for attending and their contributions to the Bexley Chamber of Commerce. It's been a driving force behind supporting our local businesses, from revitalising the Bexley Town Centre to running successful small business networking events, as mentioned by Jeff, and campaigning local employment opportunities, especially the monthly trivia, mentioned twice. I was going to mention it. They host at Forest Inn Hotel. As a regular myself, I would encourage locals to attend. It's a great night out, it's free, and it's a really good opportunity of having fun with local residents and giving back to the community. And their collaboration with council and community markets and shop local programs that brought real energy and pride to our area. And so this is a great start by congratulating to all involved, as this recognition is well deserved. And I hope it doesn't stop there, as there's so much more that needs to be addressed in Bexley. So thank you very much.
I just wanted to say a quick word as well, because Bexley is really a beautiful little suburban town, high street, and there's some great shops there. I really encourage residents to get there and spend their money locally. And I want to thank the Bexley Chamber of Commerce for your advocacy, especially in the face of these really high levels of truck movements there. You have Bayside Council support. We will continue to push the state government to find solutions to make your local shops back for your local people, not as a throughway for heavy trucks. Thank you.
Councillor Barlow.
I'll just congratulate the Chamber as well. I've known them for quite a while, and I remember the late Bev Scott was the driving force between Bexley starting the bank. I think the bank has saved Bexley. Anyone that really wants to go to a bank, you go there, they know your name. It's quite amazing, because you go to any other they're faceless. and they'll say, you know, hi Liz or whatever. So to me, and the whole of the shopping centre, the shops, it just amazed me what they've got up there. There's some beautiful shops there now. So, and the chamber really is the driving force of keeping it all together. And it's the trivia night, I did win. Not last time, the one before, our table won. So, but it's worth everything to look at Bexley and go there. We did have spring fairs, which were fantastic, but they failed. You know, in the end, they just couldn't cope. And I do remember Bexley without trucks.
Councillor Barlow. Councillors, anything further? No, thank you and congratulations once again. Next, I'm delighted this evening to recognise Tracy Corbin-Matchett, OAM, the Chief Executive Officer of Bus Stop Films, for our outstanding leadership and advocacy. Based in Carlton, Bus Stop Films has created opportunities for adults with disabilities and people from marginalised communities to learn and work in film, using storytelling to promote inclusion and change attitudes across society. A proud hard of hearing woman, Tracy has earned national recognition, including receiving an Order of Australia Medal in 2023 and the Groundbreaker Award at the 2024 Australian Women's Film Festival. On behalf of Bayside Council, I congratulate and thank Tracy for her dedication, vision and commitment to inclusion through the arts. I'd like to invite Tracy to please come forward and accept the certificate of congratulations from councillors and councillors who wish to join.
Thank you so much to Bayside Council for recognising me. It's very special and I'm very proud to be the CEO of Bus Stop Films, and I'm grateful to be able to have contributed to the cultural landscape of the region and also to the lives of people with disability. And Councillor Heidi, I know that you're very familiar with the screen industry and realise how impactful it is, and it's really wonderful that we're able to open up pathways for creativity, skills development and employment for people with disability through our program. So thank you so much for honouring me. This will go proudly next to my OAM, so thank you so much. I'm really grateful. It's really lovely, so thank you so much.
Councillor Douglas.
I just want to say quickly, I'm in awe of Tracy. You're a legend in the film industry, a legend among female filmmakers, and to have you here in Bayside is a fantastic facility that's actually used nationwide. So something we should be very proud of, hosting alongside Shopfront Arts in what is increasingly becoming Creative Carlton. And I also wanted to note that you have the Attorney General as well as your patron, and she did a shout out to you at the Australian Local Government Association conference this year. So you're making ripples all across the nation. So thank you.
Thank you. Councillors, anything further? And just our final presentation this evening is to acknowledge some very hard-working Bayside Council staff. Over the years, Botany Family Daycare has delivered high-quality early childhood education in our community, first under the former City of Botany Bay Council and continuing through amalgamation into Bayside Council. Today, as more families choose long daycare and preschool options, Botany Family Daycare officially closed in September 2025. I'm pleased to say that families who still prefer the family daycare model can still access quality care and education, as all our educators have successfully joined new approved providers. On behalf of Council and our community, I extend our heartfelt thanks to the educators for their outstanding commitment, professionalism and service to Bayside's children and families over so many years. Their contribution has left a lasting legacy in our community. I'd now like to welcome the educators to receive their certificates of recognition and acknowledge some who are unable to join us tonight. So Christy Truskowski, who is not attending this evening, Rebecca Belbin, Kelly Mitford. Yep, so please come forward. Kazi Kanom, who is also unable to attend tonight, Irani Mansour, who is unable to attend tonight, and Victoria Shelley, who is unable to attend tonight. If Rebecca and Kelly could please come forward, and any interested councillors join us for a photo. We need Rebecca and Kelly. Local? You don't have local? Sorry, there's some confusion. So can I just ask who's here? Christy's here. There we go. All right, we had the wrong people down, but sorry about that.
Oh yes, that would be great. Then you'll take them and you'll distribute them to those. Yep. Yeah, that's fine. Rebecca, Victoria and Kelly. Kelly's here, isn't she? No, she couldn't come. These ones we'll give to you and you can take them to them or no? Which one?
Should we all just have a photo? Thank you.
Oh well, we nearly had the right people sorted. Congratulations. Would any councillors like to speak? Councillor Dusku? You need to flip your microphone on. There you go.
So firstly, I just want to thank the council for acknowledging these lovely people. I'd like to talk specifically about Christy. It's a true pleasure to be here to really give well-deserved acknowledgement. Christy's the heart and soul behind Kippy Family Daycare. For those of you who've had the privilege of visiting, which a few of us have, we know exactly what makes Kippy so exceptional. It's a place where warmth, care and dedication are not just words, but values that are lived every single day. Christy, as the owner and driving force behind Kippy, has created a truly welcoming environment where families feel seen, supported and most of all valued. From the moment you step through the door, it's clear that Kippy is not just any daycare, it's a second home for children, a place where they are nurtured, encouraged to explore, and given the space to grow in a safe and loving environment. Christy's commitment to the family she serves is evident in every detail, from the way she carefully curates activities and engages and inspires the children. So I suggest you all go on their Facebook page and see. Above all, she makes the parents feel at ease. Her deep understanding of early childhood development, which you showed when the Honourable Arthur Sinodinos and I came to your daycare, paired with her genuine care for the children and families she works with, is the reason why Kippy Daycare has earned such a glowing reputation in the community. We are all here today not just because of her passion for childcare, but because of her remarkable achievement. Kippy Family Daycare was a finalist in the Bayside Local Business Awards. This is no small feat. Being recognised as a finalist is such a prestigious competition is a testament to Christy's tireless efforts, her dedication to quality, and the positive impact she has had on the lives of so many children and families in our community. Christy, you are an inspiration to all of us. Your commitment is to providing exceptional care for our youngest community members is something truly special. Kippy Family Daycare is not just a business, it's a reflection of your heart, your passion, and your dedication to making a difference in the lives of others. So today, let us celebrate Christy, her family, and Kippy Family Daycare and the incredible impact they have made on the Bayside community and the children. Congratulations on being a finalist in Bayside Local Business Awards. What an achievement. Thank you very much.
Councillor Dusku. Councillor Sarabanovsky.
Can't beat that. Took the words right out of my mouth, so I'll try and keep it brief. I'd like to congratulate all the recipients. As I and my fellow councillors attend the Kippy Family Daycare facility in honour of National Family Daycare Week. and celebrating 13 years of hard work and service to the community as a Family Day service. I was impressed immensely by the facilities and the service delivered. All the daycare providers gathered here tonight are all the backbone of our community and lay the foundations of early learning for all us all. So thank you very much.
Councillor Saranovsky. Anything further, councillors? Councillor Barlow.
Just to congratulate all the daycare people, and I do know Kippy and George. I've known them. They used to be customers at my shop before they had their children. I remember their little boy was born 6 weeks or 8 weeks early, 3 months, whatever. And there was a story, you know, he'd come in with stories all the time about him, and the little daycare centre they've got is absolutely, it's so impressive to see and beautiful. So it's well worth, all of you, and congratulations. I'm so glad there's still something like this around instead of those soulless preschools or soulless childcare, long daycare centres.
Anything further, councillors? Thank you and congratulations once again. We have no apologies this evening, no leave of absences. We do have 2 requests from Councillor Brederhoft and Strong wishing to participate in this meeting by audio-visual link. We have a mover and a seconder. Moved Councillor Curry, seconded Councillor Boudeleau. All those in favour, all those against, declare that carried. Councillor disclosures of interest. Does any councillor wish to make any disclosures of interest? Councillor Curry. Councillor Morrissey. Councillor Bezic. Councillor Boudeleau. Councillor Strong. Doesn't unmute, we'll take that as a no. Councillor Kassim, Councillor Brederhoft.
No.
Councillor Saranovsky.
Yes, on notice of motion 13.4, Scarborough Park North drainage, irrigation and field upgrades. I played for the Arncliffe Scots Club a few years ago. I'll be declaring a non-significant, non-pecuniary interest, used to play. Don't hold any board positions in the past or currently, and I'll be leaving the chamber for the matter being discussed.
Councillor Naji.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A conflict of interest on the basis, on 12.1, CPE 25.011. A conflict of interest on the basis that I am on the City Eastern panel and it's going to the panel next week. Thank you. I won't be voting or staying in the chamber. Thanks.
Councillor Dusku.
No.
Councillor Iwata. Councillor Barlow. Councillor Poulos. Councillor Douglas.
I am declaring a significant non-pecuniary conflict of interest in item CS 25.033 in regards to the community grant program on the basis that I have a close personal relationship with members of the Sam Susie Veggie Patch, and so I will leave the chamber during the consideration vote on the matter.
Sorry, Councillor Kassim.
Sorry, and I should be chairing it last week on community without the electric vehicle parties, just because I'm one of my main interested in these suggestions which have been made by other councillors.
Thank you. I declare a non-significant, non-pecuniary interest in relation to item 13.4, notice motion Scarborough Park North drainage / irrigation and field upgrades, as the grants and Office of Sport grant, and I work for the Minister for Sport, but I'll nevertheless leave the chamber for that item. Anything further, councillors? No? Minutes of previous meetings. Can I ask 2 councillors who are present to move and second the minutes of the previous meeting? Sorry, Councillor Iwata.
I'll move that, but I just need to make a change to my disclosure of interest, very minor change on item CS 25.029 and item 13.10. Just to cross out the word area and put Bayside LGA, I've given it to governance. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Have we got that? Yes. Yep. Thank you. So moved Councillor Iwata, the minutes of the previous meeting. Do we have a seconder? Seconded Councillor Douglas. Anything further? All those in favour, all those against, declare that carried. Moving to mayoral minutes. I know we've got some public speakers tonight, so I'll be very brief. But firstly, the opening of the M6 Stage 1 shared pedestrian cyclist pathway, or the active transport corridor. As councillors would be aware, there's been ongoing construction works going for a number of years now, running from north to south, from Arncliffe down to Cogra, which has caused a great deal of consternation in our community. But we're assured that very soon these assets will be passed over to council before the end of the year. So we're very much excited for that. And it's going to be a fantastic green corridor for local residents to enjoy, and helping complete that active transport pathway running from the CBD to the south of the city. So I think we're very shortly going to be organising a preview of these new community assets, and I invite all councillors to come along and join. Councillors, any further discussion? Councillor Douglas.
I'm so excited about this. I want to congratulate the staff and the council who negotiated for this additional agreement from the state government to provide these amazing facilities that I think will be there for hundreds of years, helping to connect our community and get kids to be able to ride their bikes and walk to the different sport fields, and better access to nature as well throughout Bayside. So thank you to everyone involved.
Councillor Douglas, anything further? Right, all those in favour, all those against, declare that carried. Just one additional minute to acknowledge a fantastic result for council as Barton Park won the Masters Builders Association Award, Excellence in Construction Award, for what is really a fantastic piece of work, working in partnership with the a local civil contractor, Ford Civil, who delivered the park for us, but of course our fantastic staff. I'll call out Louise individually, but I know there's so many people go into making this stuff happen. I think we would be spending a lot more money to deliver this project today. I think we'd all acknowledge that it's an absolutely fantastic facility for the local community, very well used, and really what we're here for. So I won't go on, councillors, but anything further? Councillor Barlow.
Comment very quickly that the staff have put up a fantastic video finally on our Facebook, and it really shows, and I'm that way it shows the whole park. It's great.
I'm sure they got appropriate licences from the airport for the drones. Congratulations once again, and thank you for the work you do. Anything further, councillors? No. All those in favour, all those against, declare that carried. Now move to items by exception.
Mr Mayor.
Councillor Naji.
Yes, thank you, Mr Mayor. I request the chairperson, pursuant to clause 9.3 of the Code of Meeting Practice, to consider urgency for the following business. I have put through the points that I need the councillors to look at. So due to over the past 2 weeks, the 5 stories were published in the Sydney Morning Herald, naming several councillors, including the Mayor McDougall, and featured on the front page, alleging Minister Honing involving himself investigations into corruption at Bayside Council. Minister Honing stated in Parliament and inferred that he involved himself in the investigation by the Office of Local Government due to overwhelming evidence of serious misconduct and corruption at Bayside Council. I've passed on the points that what I'm requesting. It's nothing, it's about clearing our name, because all the councillors around this chamber, including the GM, including the directors, including the managers, including the supervisors, all the way down to the workers at Bayside on the ground, there's been some sort of a tarnish, a perception about our reputation, our integrity, and about corruption. And all I want to do, Mr Mayor, is seek, I don't know if she's got them up there yet, maybe, those 3 points we need to write to the local, the LGA, yes, to Mr Honing, and maybe not him in particular, but you want me to read it, I can, or
I think you'd maybe give councillors a chance to read the motion that you've just circulated.
No, that just came up now. It wasn't intentional.
Sorry, I'm just reading the...
It is serious, Mr Mayor.
So we vote on whether it's urgent.
Here they are. It's up there.
So, councillors, we first need to vote on whether or not this is actually an urgent and critical matter to be dealt with by council that can't wait before there's further discussion. So, Councillor Naji, have you finished speaking to the motion?
Yeah, look, the whole idea about this motion, as is stated in 1, 2 and 3, and I don't want to read it out, it'll take so much time. And like I said, in the streets or even in my business, where residents come up to me and say, hey, Councillor Naji, what's happening at Bayside Council? What's this corruption allegations and that? And here it is, it's pretty clear what I'm asking for is for all councillors to be briefed, and I'm sure I'll hear from other councillors what they think, is all councillors to be briefed and even the general manager, the directors, just to see what the allegations, and I understand some of the allegation that can be parked aside because it's not concluded by ICAC, the Boulevard Car Park, and with due respect, it's just the interference of the minister, local government minister, in the process of an investigation, and in my opinion, it's tarnishing the whole organisation. So I just want to clear our position, to clear our organisation, and if there's anything wrong, please inform us. Let's get a briefing from the Minister's office by certain, whether it's the it's all up there, whether it's the Deputy Secretary or the Secretary to the local government. That's all I'm asking for. And I think it reflects on every one of us, every councillor and every staff member of this organisation. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Naji. So I'll just read out for the benefit of councillors. You can refer to section 9.1 through to 9.5 about business that can be dealt with at a council meeting, but 9.3 states relevantly that despite clause 9.1, that being the ordinary conduct of business, business may be considered at a meeting of the council even though due notice of the business has not been given to the councillors if A, a motion is passed to have the business considered at the meeting, and B, the business to be considered as ruled by the chairperson to be of great urgency on the grounds that it requires a decision by the council before the next scheduled ordinary meeting of the council. I would say that I don't consider this business to be of great urgency on the grounds that it requires a decision prior to the next meeting of council. I mean, frankly, I think this is partisan nonsense, and I think it's quite embarrassing, quite frankly. You could have raised this in advance. I'm sure you could have raised this several days ago with the council group. I think this is quite disappointing, to be honest, and throwing this up in the middle of... No, you don't have a right to reply to this, Councillor Naji.
No, I do. As a point of order, Mr Mayor.
What's the point of order?
Yes, the point of order... Mr Mayor, I raise a point of order because I believe you have an interest in this motion, okay, and I believe you did not declare a due conflict. I believe you needed to vacate the chair while deciding the earlier motion. So therefore, and I'm not saying you are the most highly respected in my point of views, but you've been mentioned in the paper, so me raising this, you should declare an interest and vacate the chair, in my opinion. And that is under clause 15.1 of the Code of Meeting Practice, and which says a councillor may draw the attention of the chairperson to an alleged breach of this code by raising a point of order, which I did. A point of order does not require even a seconder.
Sure. I'm happy to take advice from governance on that.
Through the chair, I think the overarching issue here is whether or not this matter requires council to make a decision on it tonight or not. Whether this could be brought to a committee or a future meeting of council. And I think that's really what the councillors have to turn their minds to this evening, regardless of whether the mayor is chairing or it's another councillor. The substantive matter is this genuinely a matter of urgency that the business has to be dealt with in this meeting? If the determination is that it is a matter of urgency, then I would recommend that the mayor vacate the chair. If you determine, the mayor could actually ask the council to vote on whether this is a matter of urgency or not. And if council voted that it was a matter of urgency, he could vacate the chair at that point. And that's what I'd be recommending happens now.
Sorry, I'm a little bit confused why the mayor is involved with this. Like, I take the point that there is a lot of questions in the media, but I've read the Sydney Morning Herald articles and I don't see any reason for the mayor to vacate the chair. Like, there's no accusations against the mayor. There are against other people, which are very complicated, and I have to admit I don't really understand them all, and I probably would like to get some legal advice on this first one before making a decision on it, to be honest. I don't think that we need to call for an investigation until we at least do the first part of this motion, but I would like to get the Merediths and the legal team's advice on that before we vote on it. But yeah, I simply don't understand why the mayor, because he's been involved, because a journalist has made some allegations which don't actually involve him, that he's a side character to, I don't see why he would have to vacate the chair, but I haven't maybe read all the articles.
Look, in the interest of, I don't accept Councillor Naji's point of order. I don't see where particularly looking at the substance of what your motion is, says that there are allegations of corruption against Bayside Council. If you want to say that that requires people to absent themselves, surely then everyone should absent themselves. Again, I just think this is ridiculous. But councillors, I'm happy to take a vote on whether council or not considers this needs to be dealt with urgently, which is obviously very unusual. Councillors, all those in favour of Councillor Naji's motion be considered urgent? Sure. All those in favour? All those against? So division's been called. Pull up a division, that the motion be considered urgent.
Against.
Councillor Morrissey.
Against.
Councillor Bezic. Councillor Boudelet. Councillor Strong.
I'm abstaining because I still need to learn more about what this issue is. I think it needs to be dealt with, but I'm not sure about the urgency.
We abstain. Councillor Kassim. Councillor Brederhoft.
Not urgent.
Against. Councillor Sarabanovsky.
Against.
Councillor Naji. Councillor Discu. Councillor Awada. Councillor Barlow. Councillor Poulos. Councillor Douglas.
Against.
And myself against. Declare the motion lost. Thank you, councillors. We now move to the very patiently waiting public speakers in the public forum. Sorry, we didn't actually get through items by exception, did we? So we might move back to that. All right.
I've got one very small issue at 11.4 on the progress of motions of motion. There's just a slight typo in the motion submitted for the LGA conference.
11.4.
Sorry, 11.14. Just if you look at the progress right at the end of the table, it goes on about litter and illegal dumping.
We'll deal with it when we get to the item, Councillor Strong.
Okay.
Councillor Curry.
Just noting, we have to pull out 11.8.
Yep. Councillor Morrissey. Councillor Bezic. Councillor Boudelet.
11.1, please.
Yep. Councillor Kassim. Yep. Councillor Brederhoft.
No.
Councillor Sarabanovsky.
No.
Councillor Naji.
Yeah, CS 25.034 and also 12.2 on CWA 25.045.
Sorry, what was it in C034? Yeah.
Yeah, it's the City Services Committee, number 7. Thank you.
And sorry, what was the other one?
The other one is 12.2 CWA 25.045.
Councillor Discu. No. Councillor Awada. Councillor Barlow.
CP 25.047.
Yep.
I think the rest of them pulled out.
Yeah, that's fine. Councillor Poulos.
Yep. Sorry, CPE 25.031.
Yep.
and CPE 25.032.
Yep. Councillor Douglas.
He's by himself.
Yep. Got that. What's sorry? 11.1's been called out. Yep. Councillors, anything further? Deal with the rest of the paper by exception. All those in favour, move Councillor Morrissey, seconded Councillor Curry. All those in favour, all those against, declare that carried. We now move to the public forum. We have 3 speakers tonight in the public forum. First, item 11.6. We have Mr Andrew Hall representing Jolt speaking against the officer's recommendation, who I believe is joining us by audio-visual link.
Hello, yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Terrific. So look, good evening councillors, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Andrew Hall and I represent Jolt, an Australian company delivering free, fast and 100% renewable electric vehicle charging in partnerships with councils across Sydney and other major cities across Australia via an advertising-enabled charging model. I refer to the report outlined in item 11.6, noting the City Planning and Environment Committee meeting that requested it on the 1st of October. We support the data provided by council staff in this report, however, refer to the decision of the committee to retain the EV charging policy in its current form. This current form would exclude Jolt from operating in Bayside, which is deployed at over 100 sites across Australia. I would like to request consideration being given to amending this total prohibition on advertising-enabled charging to a controlled trial of 5 Jolt chargers that will immediately unlock zero-cost infrastructure and a new revenue stream for Bayside. Our advertising-enabled model allows us to provide significant and lasting value to Bayside and its community. We deliver zero-cost infrastructure to council, provide 7 kilowatt hours of free energy to the community, supporting equity and affordability. And because EV charging is a high capital, low margin industry, the advertising component de-risks the model, ensuring reliability and future technology upgrades. This approach has been supported by 12 Sydney councils, including Randwick and Georges River, where our model has been welcomed as a genuine community amenity that helps deliver strong sustainability and commercial outcomes for council. I fully appreciate Bayside's concerns about visual impact, legacy and placement. In terms of visual impact, our chargers are slimline and have a footprint of just half a square metre. Across the entire Bayside LGA, we would only propose up to 5 commercial area-based locations, ensuring any visual impact is modest and well managed. In terms of legacy, we recognise council's prior experience with outdoor advertising providers. Jolt's social licence to operate is earned through the free, fast, renewable EV charging we provide to the community. All chargers operate under commercial arrangements with strict removal clauses, ensuring obsolete infrastructure is never left behind. And finally, on location and equity, our network design is data-driven, based on EV ownership and local charging demand, not just advertising value. We've already identified suitable locations in collaboration with council staff, with some awaiting assessment through the local traffic arm pending this decision. We already have proof of concept. 28% of Bayside EV owners travel outside of your LGA to access Jolt's charging in neighbouring LGAs. We are proposing an opportunity where the council gains zero-cost EV infrastructure, a premium revenue stream and a crucial, equitable, fast charging solution. Thank you for your leadership and for considering a solution that delivers maximum community benefit at zero financial cost.
Thank you, councillors. Do we have a mover and a seconder? We have Councillor Douglas, seconded Councillor Morrissey. Councillors, any discussion? Councillor Douglas.
Can I just ask a question on why we are limiting so that we don't have the Jolt? Could we ask that through the chair?
Through Ms Dawson.
Through you, Mayor. The issue is that our current policy for EV charging doesn't allow for advertising, and the model that Jolt is proposing separates advertising from the charging station. So there's likely to be advertising screens on the Princes Highway, for example, when the charging station is located in the car park some distance away. So we're merely enforcing the conditions of the policy that doesn't allow for advertising in the public domain for charging stations.
Councillor Douglas.
I just wonder if this might be a matter that we took to public consultation to see how they feel about having these facilities, given that it's no cost to council.
Councillor Curry.
Yeah, can I just ask on Councillor Douglas's point, through the chair, when did that policy, if you can remind us when that policy went out for community consultation and when it's due for going out again potentially?
Ms Dawson. Or Mr Barber, perhaps.
Through you, Mr Mayor, I believe it was 2024, but it is fairly recent. And I don't recall the revision date. They're normally a number of years, 3 to 5 years.
Councillor Curry. Any further discussion? Councillor Kassem.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually also in favour of having a little bit more discussion on this with the community. I feel like this is an area which is fast moving. You know, technology is moving fast, and people's understanding of EVs are moving quickly as well. So, I mean, I've heard, for example, you know, there are other options available. One of our local residents even, you know, has their own company involved, which enables people to sort of like an Airbnb of EV, you know, and there's other people who are working on how to make electric charging easier in high rise, which is very relevant certainly to you know, Walleye Creek and Mascot and other places. So I would actually be in favour of, you know, having even perhaps a public forum where we invite a lot of these people along to speak. It becomes an opportunity for our residents to find out more, for us to find out more, and make some fun decisions after that.
Councillor Poulos.
I similarly echo the sentiments of my fellow councillors, and I suppose we need to sort of look at it from a point of view that it's a zero cost, it's a revenue raising option for council. You know, we do work around our bus shelters, and I know we're actively looking or in the process of looking at the bus shelters and the advertising. I think we should test the market by actively launching an expression of interest in the process. So I think we probably should add to the motion that we actually actively look into the expressions of interest, or adding this for consideration.
Yeah, I mean, I also certainly agree that I think this is worth looking into.
So could I move that
Councillor
we
Barlow.
defer it and then come back with further information? I'm looking at it now, and yes, Ward 4 does have 2 EV chargers in perfect spots compared to what is suggested on all the ones I've got around closer to the shops. And I'm assuming they're saying these are faster chargers than the ones that are being offered, the slow ones. So possibly we should defer it again to get some more information to find out exactly, you know, we're all sort of, there's signs on all the poles now, and the reaction from the residents is pretty horrifying.
So I think it's been suggested that we look at going out to community consultation on whether this be considered. So perhaps this could be referred back to the committee with options for how we go about that.
Yeah. Is it necessary for community consultation if it's something that we could consider? You know, this is not something that they're automatically going to get.
I think rather than saying we need to go to community consultation, why don't we have it come back to committee with options to move ahead with this in one way or another? And that might be via a community consultation, or we might just decide to go ahead with it, or we might not at all. Councillor Morrissey.
Yeah, the question tonight is about the amendment to the policy. So to go straight in and say Jolt's going to get 5 5 sites across the LGA. It's sort of cart before the horse type thing. So I do respect what Councillor Barlow and other councillors have said. I think we need to look at it more closely and have some more information back at committee. So before we go and look at the moment, it's not allowed under the policy, full stop. So we can't actually, so we need to go back and have a look at what options are available. Ms Dawson said that with the Jolt offering, if I'm correct, you said that the advertising is separate from the charging station itself. So we need to understand what that looks like. Where's the advertising going to go versus where it is? I didn't know that. I thought it was just in the one combined area. So I think number 3, what does it say now? Come back to committee, consider the options.
I don't think
Yeah,
it needs
we don't need
example.
community consult.
Including current advertising policy.
Mr Mayor, can I make a clarification quickly?
Somebody would need to ask a question of Mr Hall if he would like to make a clarification.
Mr Hall, would you like to clarify what you said earlier?
Councillor Morrissey has asked if you would like to clarify any matters, Mr Hall.
Yeah, sure. I'm so sorry to not follow proper protocol, but the advertising is integrated into the charging unit itself, so the advertising and charging aren't in 2 separate locations.
That's useful clarification, thank you.
Yeah, I think including you can come back to committee, consider the options including current advertising, including current offerings amongst leading providers or known providers. So that way, Jolt can give a submission, we can speak to Jolt, we can speak to their competitors as well. And then if the councillors at committee then comes back to the formal council, say, yes, actually, we can look at this, then we can amend the policy, and then we can look at EOI from that point. So it's a bit of a process, but it's something we need to look into.
Do we know that the competitors in the market do offer a similar offering?
But that's what the committee, that's why I'm asking for that to come to me, because I don't know the answer to that question. It's very clear Jolt's been very proactive and made their submission. Now we understand that. We need to know what others there. We can't just go with a single supplier. It's not right.
My concern is we don't want to limit the process because no one else in the market is actually doing that. So that's where I just want to asking the question. Yeah, sure.
If there's a monopoly,
And when it comes back, you need to, we've got a list of all the poles now and how many, there's going to be 2 charges on some areas, but I don't know which ones are the Jolt, because I didn't believe Jolt was actually in our LGA. They're not in our LGA.
So they're different, my understanding
it's a different business model.
Yeah, Jolt's faster than the ones that we've got.
Yeah,
so we
I
have
know.
to look, so with the options, that should include current charges and where they are. We need a bigger picture. So we do need more information, but I'm happy to look into amending the policy once we have that information. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Councillors, anything further? So referring it back to
I think we should amend it. Yeah, I think the more the merrier. A little bit of advertising. I think we could spare goes to the electrifier community with more charges.
Thank you. It's very hard to hear you, Councillor Strong, but thank you. I understand you agree. Councillors, all those in favour, all those against, declare that carried. Next we have item CWA 25.042. Mr Helio Figueroa speaking against the officer's recommendation. Mr Figueroa. Sure. Sorry, what was your name? Kelly, thank you.
Just a second. Just want to keep track of the time. Should I just go ahead?
Yes, please.
So at the City Works and Planning Committee on the 1st of October, we watched that meeting and we noted that 2 options were put in the agenda, 1 extra one was added. So we're just trying to point council to what we think should go ahead based on how the park is currently used and how we observe it being used and how we use it ourselves. So we think option 1 would be the best option to be considered. So 50% of the required fencing for a dog park is already in place in that plan next to the house. There's already a water supply point in place there. The adjacent property owner, which is number 12 Cross Street, is in favour of having a dog park next to his property. He actually owns a dog as well. That end of the park is bare and it's not aesthetically pleasing, so it is more suitable for dogs, while the north end is tree-lined and is nicer to sit in, so more enjoyable for people using the park to sit and have their lunch, which is what they're doing at the moment. The workers come from that end of the park, which is Beach Street, to have their lunch, and there's already benches there and everything like that. Also, option number 2 and 3, they leave the memorial tree that's currently there with a plaque enclosed within the dog park, and I don't think that anyone paying respects to the people that that tree is dedicated to would want to go inside a dog park to do so, if that's the case. And it doesn't consider, as I said, it doesn't consider the way the park's being used today. We are open to reduce the proposed dog park size to whatever it is, 970 square metres as per option 3 instead of 1,500 square metres. I know in the Bayside off-leash dog policy of 2022, there is a minimum requirement for a dog park, and this is well above that either way. Also in that meeting, we did note some commentary that sort of steered the decision of which plan would be the best. There was concerns about child safety and putting a park in a playground in a park like this without a safety fence. There's already a playground there without a safety fence. The playground is already in poor condition and needs to be replaced, as you know, which is why this plan has been accelerated. And people are still using that playground, so if a parent is bringing their child to the park, if they're not old enough to not run out of the park, the parent should be keeping their eyes on that child. It is not up to the council to keep a parameter for the parent to not look at their kids so they can scroll on their phone. If TikTok is that distracting that your kid's going to run out of the playground and get hit by a car, kind of not the council's problem. There is a lot of truck activity there, yes, but it is only in business hours, and most of the park users use it outside of business hours. So that was all the concerns that we saw raised at that meeting, and we just wanted to address that. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have a mover and a seconder for the motion? Councillors who are at the committee.
Move the recommendation.
Moved Councillor Barlow. Seconded Councillor Curry. You can sit down. Councillors, any discussion? Councillor Barlow.
So I'll make a few comments, seeing I got the email, which I forwarded to Councillor Curry, because you're involved in the email or the message or whatever it was. The fencing wasn't about the fence dividing the park up. It was about the fence dividing the dog park and the playground for safety. So it had to be solid, because I was down at Fry's Reserve and I realised the kids can go, there was only cyclone fencing. The kids can put their hands through, the dogs can put their snouts through, the little ones. And yes, the fence would all be replaced around there. I was accused that I didn't know the area. I know the area extremely well. And I'll be there on Monday looking at the park while I'm at a nursery committee meeting. So this was the third option that the professional council officers looked at, because they were trying to work out so it wasn't close to the houses, playground couldn't possibly close to the house because it's too noisy. So they came up with this option. I thought this was the better option than the other one, I think it's option 2. So that was the reason why. It was more that I was more concerned, yes, there'll be a brand new fence around the whole park, because there has to be. And my concern was the dividing fence between the dog park and the playground, which was taken out of context. And all I said in one of the emails was, how much does it cost to put a fence and a water fountain there? And the comment was, I did ask, did they think there should be a playground there? And I never got an answer. So I still think the professional council staff that actually looked at it did a lot of work. It's going out to community consultation, so then we can see what the community wants, not what we want. They'll be given the options.
You can't speak further. Councillors, any further discussion? Councillor Douglas.
No, I'm just a little bit confused. So I wasn't actually able to make that committee meeting, but there's already 3 options, and there's this option is the third option, and there's contention over, there's 2 versions of the third option. No. I got an email saying that the council staff had been working on another version.
This is that version that was, sorry. Through the chair, just for clarity, At the committee meeting, this option was presented. It hadn't been in the papers. And I've distributed it tonight so those councillors who weren't at the committee can see exactly what was discussed, and this is the option that was preferred by the committee members.
Councillors, any further discussion? Sorry.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sorry, sorry, please, you're not allowed to. Councillor Brederhoft?
Are we going out with the option 1 where the dog park is next to the house and the option 3? Are we going out with both options to community consultation? I mean, that would then, I don't want to delay the process any further. So if we could go out with both options to community, we get community results.
So the General Manager, Councillor Brederhoft, was just saying the intent was just to go out with one option, so it'll require an amendment to what we've been proposing. Councillor Curry?
Would it be possible?
Sorry, Councillor Brederhoft?
Would it be possible to go out with 2 options to make the amendment now?
Through the chair, it's possible to do that. It might make the results a little more complex. The idea was for it to be given an opportunity for the committee to discuss and look at preferred and understand the reasons why this third option was being suggested and put that forward. Anything is possible. We can go out with multiple options, but that does tend to lead to a more complex result from the community.
Well, but it's also where we don't have community support for the one option. So I rather.
Councillor Curry?
If I can just add, so there was quite a bit of discussion about this, and it comes from the expertise of council staff whose role it is to design things, and other considerations like neighbours and what we've learnt through other parks. I think, though, this is the community consultation. Council aren't saying this is the final version. This is the option for, this will go out because you've got to go out with a concept, and then it's up to community to then provide feedback on a concept. And then it's that which will then inform the final design. So there are different views, and this then allows a broader group of people to be able to provide their feedback, because different people use the park in different ways. Some people will not go to a park, for example, a playground that is unfenced, because not because they're scrolling on their phones, but because they purely want to ensure that their children are in a safe environment, and, to Councillor Barlow's point, not in a position where they are directly with dogs as well. So I think, this is the community's opportunity to provide feedback.
Thank you, Councillor Curry. Councillors, is there any further discussion? Councillors, all those in favour, all those against, declare that carried. So I will just reassure the speakers in the public forum, this will go out to community consultation. It's not actually a final decision about what's going ahead, and we'd appreciate any and all feedback from the residents, which of course will be taken on board in what actually occurs once we finalise the project. Thank you. Next up, item 13.4, which I'll be absenting myself from the chamber for, and I believe Councillor Saranovsky as well. Miss Irene Hatzapetros speaking in favour of the motion from the Football New South Wales.
Good evening, Mr Mayor or Deputy Mayor, councillors, General Manager Meredith Wallace, council staff and members of the community. My name is Irene Hatzapetros, Director of Football New South Wales, and I'm here on behalf of Scots Football Club as tenants of Scarborough Park North. Thank you for the opportunity to speak in support of the motion tabled by Councillor Michael Nagy. I would also like to express my appreciation to Bayside Council, who consistently deliver outstanding sporting facilities for the community. In relation to Scarborough Park North upgrades, we are grateful for the commitment shown by council staff in processing the scope of works and master plan for this significant sporting precinct. Football St George, on behalf of Scots Football Club, was the applicant for the initial state government grant awarded in 2022 to the value of $546,038 for works at Scarborough Park North. We thank the state government and council for being a strong partner in this endeavour. However, we have experienced several challenges. Due to delays which were beyond the recipient club's control, and whilst costs and fees increased over time, the club unfortunately missed out on the full scope of the original envisaged works. During this waiting period, the condition of the grounds became increasingly difficult. The club members and broader community have been displaced throughout the season, and the club has suffered lost revenue because they were unable to operate the canteen or fully leverage their home ground. As we move forward, while we appreciate and recognise Council has a proposed scope of works in place, we remain very concerned about the drainage issues. The ground often floods severely in wet weather, and closures are common. If that drainage problem is not addressed, then the planned works risk being undermined or rendered redundant. So tonight, in support of Councillor Nagy's motion, we ask Council to consider and acknowledge the unique challenges faced by community sporting clubs in maintaining operations under less than ideal conditions during delay periods. Ensure the final scope of works includes a robust and effective drainage solution for the fields at Scarborough Park North, so that the upgraded facilities are fit for purpose, reliable year-round, and provide the return on investment for the community. Explore any additional funding or other support mechanisms to ensure the full scope of works, or as close as possible, can be realised, so that the community does not lose out because of factors outside of their control. In closing, I again thank Council and the dedicated staff for their hard work and commitment to community sport. We look forward to a future at Scarborough Park where our players, volunteers and community can enjoy high-quality, reliable facilities that match their aspirations. Thank you for considering our perspective and for your ongoing support of grassroots sport in the Bayside area. Thank you.
We have a mover and a seconder for this motion.
Yeah,
Councillor
move
Nagy
that,
and Councillor Bezic. Thank you. Councillor Nagy would like to talk.
Thank you. I'd like to propose a slight amendment on 2B to add "and main field." Like, keep it the way it is, just put "and main field." Thank you. Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. We as a council have looked to help Scarborough East for Ramsgate FC Football Club. We then helped to rectify Scarborough Central, which helps both Kogarah Waratahs and Bryden Seagulls. Now we have a motion for Scarborough North. How about that? We can be the first group of councillors to address all the issues pertaining to all of Scarborough Park. Now, this specific motion is about addressing much-needed upgrades to Scarborough Park North, home of the Scots FC Lions and a vital community sporting hub in our area. Councillors, the Scott FC Lions have been patient custodian of these fields, maintaining them despite ageing infrastructure, poor drainage and inadequate irrigation. Last season alone, half of the scheduled games at Scarborough Park North had to be cancelled due to waterlogged or unsafe conditions, a clear indication that these upgrades are long overdue. Over the past few months, I have met with stakeholders and members of both the Scots Lions FC, especially Yanni, who everyone knows in football, and representative of Football St George, who were keen to get this project going. Inadequate fields mean inadequate game play, Weather that comes and goes impacts the game and as a result hurts our grassroots sport. But I am pleased that funding provided by the New South Wales Office of Sport will now allow Council to address some of these issues. The proposed works include upgrading and rectifying drainage and irrigations on the mini field near the clubhouse, upgrading turf on both the mini and main fields to improve playing surfaces, and replacing existing seatings to provide wheelchair access and a more inclusive environment for all spectators. And while this is a good start, the Office of Sport accepted this grant in 2022. It's now 2025. And unfortunately, not everything in the original grant can be provided by the Office of Sport due to delay and cost changes. It would be a big shame that our kids and the next generation of footballers miss out due to office delays. Now, to rectify this mistake, I am urging Council to prioritise further improvements to the refield and main field in the next capital works budget, specifically upgrading turf and installing proper drainage and irrigation so it can be used regularly without risk of damage or cancellations. Ensuring that this field also meets the standard expected by players, clubs and the community. These investments are not just about one club or one park. They are about supporting grassroots sport, protecting community assets and providing safe, sustainable recreational facilities for generations to come. I commend this motion to Council and encourage my colleagues to support these essential upgrades, ensuring all fields at Scarborough Park North are playable, safe and future-proof. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Naji. Is there any discussion from the floor? Well, we should put that motion then. We'll now vote on this item. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Against? Declare that carried. We'll move on to the next item. Thank you.
Thank you, councillors. That concluding the public forum. We now move to council reports, beginning with item 11.1, Draft Code of Meeting Practice 2025. Moved Councillor Savranovsky, seconded Councillor Awada. Councillor Savranovsky.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move to make an amendment of removing the limit of motions on one per councillor, the dissent and the 2 questions of notice.
So I think for the record that is... Sorry. Do we have that governance? No. Councillor Savranovsky, would you like to speak?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to first start by thanking the staff for the report. However, I rise tonight in strong opposition to the Draft Code of Meeting Practice 2025 report. Let me be absolutely clear. This draft is not a refresh of our procedures. No, this is not refreshing. It is restrictive, it is constrictive and contradictory to the very reason we're elected to sit in these chambers. Let's remind ourselves the purpose of being a councillor is to represent, advocate for and give voice to our community. What this draft proposes is to do the exact opposite. It seeks to limit us limit our ability to move motions, ask questions and even speak unless dissent is raised. This is not refreshing. This is silencing. And the community is already backlashing against the attempt to mute their voice through us, the councillors. And rightfully so. And I'll tell you this, that backlash will continue because residents see right through this. You don't believe me? Just go online, go on the community resident groups, and let me go one step further. Let's look at the written submissions tonight. Let's see how many there are against. 3. How many in favour? None. So let's look at the facts. In or around 13 meetings, an estimated around 127 motions were submitted according to the business papers. That's an average of 9.7 motions per meeting. And if you take out the extraordinary council meetings, which I know are part of legitimate council business, the average rises to 11.5 motions per meeting. That is 1.5 motions more than the previous term. 1.5. So let's get this straight, sorry. We're proposing a drastic change to limit councillors to 1 motion because of a tiny increase, a small uptick in the first year of a new council, when we're settling in, learning the process of notice of motions, and getting on the ground to advocate for our residents. How does that make sense? And even if the number grows slightly over the next 3 years, you know what that shows? It shows council is more active, more engaged and more dedicated to representing the people than the last term through the councillors and all the staff. Is that not what the community expects from us? Let's ask some serious questions through the chair or the GM. How many councils have implemented these kinds of restrictions? What's the exact number of councils? Have any of our neighbouring councils adopted such measures? And if so, how has it gone for those councils? Because at the committee meeting, when I asked why was this change even being considered, the answer I got was it's an opportunity to refresh the code of meeting practice. With all due respect, it doesn't seem like a refresh to me. I also asked whether neighbouring councils had been surveyed, and the answer was vague. A few councils had made changes and there was an expectation that more would follow. Well, has that happened? Has more councils joined this movement? Or are we going to stand alone in this poor example of procedure that residents are already disappointed in us? Now, to questions of notice, why are we limiting them just to 2 per councillor? Why 2? Why not 3? Why not 4? Why not leave it unrestricted? We haven't seen many questions of notice leading up to the report, so why suddenly fix something that wasn't broken? If the volume was low, then why change it? Where's the justification? We haven't, and let me ask again, how exactly will councillors be notified if their second notice of motion becomes available due to the other councillors not using theirs? Where is the clarity in the process? I've asked the question, how many motions have we seen over time? The believed average was 15 to 20 this term, last term 10, term before 5. So yes, we've seen growth, not chaos, not dysfunction, but engagement. We're doing our job. We should be proud of it. This draft supports to our residents. We think council as a whole should do less. And I, for one, cannot support that. I ran a campaign on fostering community consultation and representation. This is a complete contradiction to what I ran for and the motion I moved for town hall meetings, which I must thank the tireless staff that put that together. But I'm confident residents of Bayside will remember what they voted for and all the councillors here today, the how to vote brochures we handed out and what we promised to deliver. Let me finish with this. These chambers are not meant to be quiet. Democracy is not meant to be tidy. It's meant to be challenging and transparent. This is how progress is made. This is how residents know they are being represented. If the change is to limit our motions, restrict our questions, and suppress the voices, unless you're opposing, you're not silencing councillors, you're silencing the community. And I will not stand for that. And I ask my fellow councillors, will you do the same? Thank you.
Councillor Sarabanovsky. So just for the record, the amendments proposed by Councillor Sarabanovsky are to clause 3.10, deleting the green text after public holiday, in 3.12, deleting the green text, and in 10.5, deleting the note in green. Councillors, any further discussion? All those in favour?
Sorry.
Councillor Barlow.
No, it's just, I have very serious concerns, and I know we can't change it, but I advise anyone watching this meeting, this is a draft. I know that the Code of Meeting Practice has been put out by the Office of Local Government under instructions. Some of the instructions are so archaic. Now, one is the modes of address, 7.1. And I'm sorry, Mr Mayor, but when the Mayor walks in, we all have to stand up. That to me I thought was a court thing, not... I describe this as a board of directors where no one stands except to talk. I believe that is something... I mean, I had a mayor here that there is no way I could have stood up for him, and that was in 2008, the late John Flowers. He was the rudest person from the chair that you could ever... and had no respect for him. No offence, but I feel that if it could be taken out, it should be taken out. I feel maybe the Mayor can just say, don't bother. And the other one that I have serious concern, as always has, is the prohibition of pre-meeting briefing sessions. Now, it contradicts the Local Government Act, which is Division 3, 232, point B, to make considered and well-informed decisions as a member of the governing body. If we don't have any briefing sessions, we've got to try and work everything out ourselves, and I feel it's that we're not being fully informed. We can't have the poor old GM or someone will have to say, individually, we all want different information. What we've had before, and the times I've been here, well, I suppose it's a long time anyway. I've been here a long time, a few decades. And it has always worked out extremely well, except for the last 4 years. It has been criticised. There is no decisions made at that. It's a casual situation where we can ask questions, we get fully informed, then we can come into this chamber and we know the history, we understand it all, so we get background that the residents don't need to know all of it, and I feel that that's one. I feel every single resident, they should be writing to their local member of parliament to complain about 3.31, the prohibition of pre-meeting briefing sessions, because that's denying us the right to be fully informed, and it contradicts the Act. And that was about it at the moment. But it's now going on exhibition. So hopefully, I know we've got some online that have put in, that's not where that's sent in. They need to send it to their local members, because they're the ones that have got to change it.
Councillor Barlow. Councillor Dusku.
I'll be brief. I actually would like to resonate with and agree with what Councillor Barlow said. I do feel as a newbie that the briefings would have really assisted, and there is something amiss. And when you're working full-time and trying to catch up with everything in life, the briefings would have really assisted. So I would like to bring them back. Thank you.
Councillor Dusku. Any further discussion, councillors? Councillor Douglas.
I just want to recognise when we had this originally at the committee that there was concern that there were too many motions being put, and some of them maybe were more questions on notice than actually motions. So I would suggest that we make an additional amendment for a further councillor training session on how to write motions, what a question on notice, without notice is, and the processes, if that is amenable to the rest of
the mover and the seconder happy to add that as a point.
That's fine.
Thank you. I will notice advice from Mr. Sheridan that modes of address item 7.1 that says where physically able to, councillors and staff should stand when the mayor enters the chamber and when addressing the meeting. And Mr. Sheridan did make the point that the word should could be interpreted to mean that you don't really have to. Well, but you should. It's precatory, you maybe. Anyway, nevertheless, this is being imposed on us. Sorry, Councillor Kassim.
Yes, thank you, Mr Mayor. I would like to support everything that has been said so far, and also recognise that I think a lot of the motivation behind this was recognising the work that the staff do, and that there is a limit to how much staff can do. in any given day. And also take responsibility as another new councillor, as there are a few of us here, who may have put in motions without knowing exactly what council is already doing or already planning to do. And there's a few people who have done this, and so I guess I would like to support, yes, training in how to write motions and all that sort of stuff, that's fine, but also more information on what is already in train, because I think that will hopefully reduce the number of motions and probably questions on notice anyway.
Thank you, Councillor Kassim. Any further discussion? No. All those in favour, all those against, declare that carried. Item 11.4, progress report on councillor notice of motion. Do I have a mover and a seconder? Move Councillor Discu, seconded Councillor Barlow. I believe you pulled this out, Councillor Strong.
I was just referring to the typo at 11.14, right at the end of the progress part of the table at the end. It's got something about illegal dumping. It must be a typo. That's all.
We located that. So it's on page 284 of the council agenda, I believe. Where's the typo? Sorry, Councillor Strong.
Right at the end of the table.
Yeah.
I think it was the last motion. It was about the local New South Wales Council motion, and I just noticed in the progress section at the end of the table, it was going on about litter and dumping.
Sorry, it's replicated under 13.14.
Yes,
it replicates the
it's
previous
replicated.
items.
That's right. Yeah.
Comments, whereas it should have its own comments. So I'm sure
Yeah, that's
staff noted that, and we can amend that to be correct. Councillors, any further discussion? Councillor Kassim?
And I also pulled it out. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Just really for the point, from the perspective of clarity, I suggest that number 13 be printed in full. I think it only has part of the original motion. And number 19 probably should include my name. Number 21 probably would benefit from having reference to the original motion. Otherwise, it may not make very much sense. So yeah, so 13, 19 and 21.
13, 19 and 21. Governance are nodding that they've got that. Councillors, any further discussion? All those in favour, all those against, declare that carried. Item 11.8, General Manager's Performance Review. Do I have a mover and a seconder? Move Councillor Kassim, seconded Councillor Douglas. We need to nominate an additional councillor.
Nominate Councillor Curry.
Curry, the mover and a seconder. Happy with that?
I also wanted to say that I fully support Councillor Curry's nomination, given that you were the last mayor who did the performance review. I think that's great to have that continuity going into this performance review. I know that the General Manager can also nominate somebody, and I would suggest, for the cross-partisan sake of making this review as widely, transparent as possible, that we nominate Jerome Boudelet as a second, or Meredith could potentially do that, given... yeah, that's okay. It's just a suggestion that the GM maybe cannot.
All right, so we're proposing...
Over the years, it's always been fairly bipartisan, always been very bipartisan. So I would say a Liberal should be on the committee, not another Labor, sorry. But that's what it should be. It should be bipartisan. It should not be what you're talking about. So I'm happy to nominate either Councillor Boudelet or Councillor Nagy as...
We have a motion before us. Councillors, any further discussion? No. All those in favour?
Doesn't the GM nominate the...
No,
Yes.
you don't have to she can't nominate it as part. Yeah, so the motion, governance just has one nominated person, not two.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. That's the motion before us. And then the General Manager, I'm sure, will listen to the discussion and will make her decision subsequently. Councillor Naji.
Yeah, just a question, just confirming whether there is an establishing performance agreement. Is there one already or not?
Through the chair, yes. Every staff member, including myself, has a performance agreement, and that's developed annually. My performance agreement is then reflected in the directors' performance agreements, and they trickle down throughout the staff. Part of this process will be that the panel will seek feedback from other councillors who may not sit on that elected panel, but will certainly have the opportunity to have some input.
Thank you. Councillors, any further discussion? All those in favour? All those against? Declare that carried. Item CPE 25.030, proposed amendments to the Bayside Development Control Plan 2022, needs to be pulled out as it's a planning matter. Councillors, do I have a mover and a seconder? Move Councillor Morrissey, seconded Councillor Barlow. Any speakers? All right, by way of division, this is the proposed amendments to the Bayside Development Control Plan. So I think, as per the note, they're tidy up amendments and then deal with matters at Botany and Cooks Cove and anything else that is not immediately on my screen. Councillors, division, Councillor Curry, Councillor Morrissey, Councillor Bezic, Councillor Boudeleau, Councillor Strong. Sorry, can you say that louder, Councillor Strong, please?
Yep. Yeah. Support.
Yeah. Support. Councillor Kassim. Yes. Councillor Brederhoft.
For.
Councillor Savranovsky. For. Councillor Naji. Councillor Discu. Councillor Iwata. Councillor Barlow. Councillor Poulos. Councillor Douglas.
I'm going to abstain because I wasn't at the meeting.
Thank you. And myself for, declare that carried. Item CPE 25.031, post-exhibition report, draft affordable rental housing strategy. Do I have a mover and a seconder? Move Councillor Barlow, seconded Councillor Morrissey. Any speakers, councillors? I know Councillor Poulos pulled this out.
Yeah, I've just got a couple of questions that I wanted to ask with regards to contributions. Can I just ask what rate the contribution will be set at? And is it a...
Mr Barber.
Through you, Mr Mayor. The rates will be determined based on the feasibility impact on development. So the scheme will only apply to areas of land that council upzones in the future. It won't be retrospective. So we're looking at Rockdale Town Centre, for example, and we would need to do some modelling to show that if the contribution is imposed on development, that development is still financially feasible. It won't essentially stop it from going ahead. The most likely rate for Rockdale would be 2%. Anything above that is likely to have too big an impact on the feasibility, but it will vary from location to location.
Just another question. I've got a few questions, so bear with me. Will the Affordable Housing Contribution Scheme, so the AHCS, replace other existing contribution arrangements?
Through you, Mr Mayor, no, it won't. It'll be an additional contribution.
Next question, where do we have an idea at this point in time where we will be applying these sort of contributions?
Through you, Mr Mayor, the two pieces of work that Council has on foot at the moment where this might apply would be the Rockdale Town Centre Master Plan and the Botany Road and Mascot Precinct Master Plan. And that's because Council is contemplating ultimately some upzoning of land in those areas or increasing floor space and height limits. And it's at that point that we have the opportunity to introduce this scheme.
Councillor Poulos.
So where you've said that it's not going to be replacing any contributions, are we going to be, so obviously the Rockdale precinct would obviously fall under the Transport Orient Development, so TOD. Will that be in addition to TOD?
Through you, Mr Mayor, the TOD precinct does have a mandatory requirement for affordable housing, and it's set at 2% for Rockdale. In fact, I think it's 2% for all TODs. So it wouldn't be in addition to. People would lodge the application under either council's controls or the TOD controls, and our intention is to match the same. The contribution will be the same under either. So people would pay one or the other, but they'd be the same amount.
So where we actually collect the contributions in those sort of areas with Todd, what do we do with regards to infrastructure and the ongoing maintenance and upgrading of that infrastructure if we're giving them the option of one or the other? So technically you won't be collecting what you would have for that maintenance and updating.
Through you, Mr Mayor, I may not have made myself clear. In terms of one or the other, it would be a contribution for affordable housing either under the TOD or under council's scheme. In all cases, there'd still be the other developer contributions payable that go towards open space and other facilities. We do have a new plan under preparation at the moment, and so the rates that are in that would be applied in addition to the affordable housing contribution.
Great, thank you very much for that clarification, because the concern is that we don't want to sort of take from one to put to the other. My last question is, have we projected how much the AHCS will raise, and if so, how much?
Through you, Mr Mayor, it's a little difficult to do that, so at this stage we haven't attempted that. It does depend on the take-up rate, so it relies on people putting in applications, having them approved, and then building units and then paying the contribution. So it's difficult for us to predict at what pace that will occur. It's dependent on interest rates, supply shortages, labour shortages, a whole bunch of things that we don't necessarily control or can predict. So, but it'll be 2% of the dwellings that are built. But it's very difficult to forecast exactly when they will come online. But ultimately, it'll be 2% of the housing stock.
Thank you, Mr Barber.
Councillors, any further discussion? All right, this is by way of division. Councillor Curry. Councillor Morrissey. Councillor Bezich. Councillor Boudeleau. Councillor Strong. Councillor Kassim. Councillor Brederhoft. Councillor Saravinovsky. Councillor Naji. Councillor Dusku. Councillor Awada, Councillor Barlow, Councillor Poulos, Councillor Douglas, and myself 4. Declare it carried. Item CPE 25.032, which I think
we covered off most of it. However, I do note that in the what was moved at the committee stated that electric vehicle charging infrastructure policy 2024 be retained in its current form. Can we change? Can we amend that?
I think this would refer that this whole thing needs to be recommitted and, as per the previous resolution.
Yeah.
Should any of that be retained?
It's been superseded.
Yeah, I think that's right. So just note the resolution, the previous resolution. That's going to be the motion. Move Councillor Poulos. Do I have a seconder?
Oh, no, I'm not moving it. I just want to change it.
Do I have a move Councillor Awada? Do I have a seconder? Seconded Councillor Morrissey. All those in favour, all those against, declare that carried. Item CWA 25.045, post-exhibition report, proposed 3-point basketball court at Arncliffe Park. Do I have a mover and a seconder? Move Councillor Naji, seconded Councillor Dusku.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Can I please have an amendment there, please, that the want me to read it out not long, that the basketball practice area / 3-point court proposed for Arncliffe Park be replaced in the forward capital works plan and new developer contribution plan with a full-size court.
Sorry, is the microphone on?
In the Hurst Road Avenue side. Sorry, yep. You want me to read it again, or?
Do we have that up on
the
screen? Yes, I think Councillor Brederhoft didn't hear you. So.
Yeah, that's okay. You want me to repeat it?
Yeah, maybe slow. So the governance, can we write it out as we go, perhaps?
Okay, an amendment that the basketball practice area, the 3-point court proposed for Arncliffe Park, be replaced in the forward capital works plan and new developer contribution plan with a full-size court to be located in the Hurstborough Avenue area. If I have a seconder, I'll be able to speak.
Councillor Discu seconded it.
Okay. Okay, I wish to speak on the proposed three-point basketball court at Arncliffe Park, noting the committee recommendation and the community engagement undertaken on these projects. Firstly, I want to acknowledge the work of council officers and manager of strategic planning, Mr. David Smith, for presenting a thorough design and the engaging community feedback. It is clear that residents are supportive of providing additional recreational opportunities for our youth, but they have also raised legitimate concerns about potential conflicts between the playground and the proposed basketball court. I believe that council should consider changing Arncliffe Park from a three-point court to a full court, and seriously consider changing our position from lobbying the New South Wales government regarding Burrows Street. If anything, Burrows Street is where a smaller three-point court should be rather than a full court. And for some reasons, several reasons, the health and safety, the M5 motorway stacks are located right there, meaning children using a full-size court there will be subject to all the pollution from the tunnels. We don't want our children exposed to unnecessary. Space usability. There is more space adjacent to Hurst and Bro Street at Arncliffe Park for a full-size basketball court compared to Burrows Street. We should consider funding this project in the 2026-27 budget, ensuring the community sees tangible progress on this much-needed recreational facility. We have an opportunity to include this project in the next version of Bayside Developer Contribution Plan and to create a sport facility that will be valued and well used by local young people. With Burrows Street, Council doesn't own that land, and despite a number of requests from the state government to honour its commitment to transfer the land to Council, we have no certainty about that happening. Arncliffe Park is a central hub for the community, a place where young people can meet, play sport and feel safe. A full-size court will provide the best outcome for youth. So what I'm asking here, Mr. Mayor, is to swap. Have the full court at Arncliffe Park, which is much more used by the youth, and have the three-point court in Burrows Street. In a matter of fact, we shouldn't have anything in Burrows Street due to the fact of the stacks. It's right on the stacks. So if councillors can't visualise what I'm trying to say, maybe you need to go down there. No one uses that parcel of land, and maybe that's the reason the state government, the Liberals and Labor, haven't really passed it on to us. So I hope I get your support on that. Thank you.
Councillors, further discussion? Councillor Barlow.
Mainly, I feel it should be deferred because it's a heritage park. I don't even know if you're allowed to take the land from where he's planning it. So I would ask the General Manager, is it better to defer the whole thing to investigate? Because I'm sure there's really not very tight spaces there now.
Manager.
Through the Mayor, if this motion is passed tonight, it will start a process. It will require a full development application and all of the referrals, the assessments, the investigations that are required to be done as part of that process.
Can I just suggest that maybe we report back on the feasibility of this option rather than going, to committee? Because as Councillor Barlow noted, I mean, fitting in a full-size basketball court adjacent to the heritage parts of the park, we should check out the feasibility of that before we move ahead with it, I would say. But obviously it's a well-used local park and a good location for active sporting facilities.
Clarification, sorry, the feasibility on financial feasibility, as she's worried about, Councillor Barlow, or the location?
It's the heritage of the park. Just to get Patong Court, which is this tiny little thing in Bexley Oval, took forever because of its heritage listing. And that's what I think this would be the same. I'm happy to think, I can't see exactly where it would go, but I feel that...
Really in the northeast corner of the park where, is that right? Where Bro and Hurst meet?
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. Yeah, it's right next to Bro Avenue towards Hurst Street. There's a big empty vacant of land, and it's true that they used to use it for junior sports before, and it had a cricket pitch over there. So it's ideal. And, you know, every time I drive past here at Rockdale on the roundabout, where you turn left to McDonald's and to the right, there's a beautiful park by Georges River. It's called Hogben Park. It's used amazingly by so many people, and I can just visualise that would be the same in Arncliffe Park. And guess what? So no one would think that we're only pushing for soccer. It'll be great to have a basketball court, and believe you me, if we deliver that to the community, I'd like you to go past after the delivery and see how it's used and how often it's used by the locals and our youth.
Councillors, further discussion?
Support.
So, sorry, can I just clarify? I would suggest that we bring this back to as a report to a committee. So we look at the feasibility of this, and I'm not just talking about financial feasibility. I think more about the planning requirements for this. All right. So I'm sure governance has that. All those in favour, all those against, declare that carried. Item CS 25.033, 25-26 Community Grants Program. Councillors, do I have a mover and a seconder? Moved Councillor Barlow, seconded Councillor Discu. Councillors, any discussion? Another fantastic rounds of community grants. Thank you to the assessors. All those in favour, all those against, declare that carried. I want to invite Councillor Douglas back in. Next item, CS 25.034, supplementary report, Gardner Park lighting / sports lighting. So I think Councillor Sarabanovsky jumped up. I think he wants to make a declaration.
Yeah, I'm going to say something else. No, you're right. Sorry for the late notice. I would like to declare an interest, non-significant, non-pecuniary, on the basis some of the parents of the club handed out for me on the election day. So I'll be abstaining from the chamber when this matter is discussed.
Councillor Sarabanovsky. Moved Councillor Naji. Do I have a seconder? Seconded Councillor Disco. Councillor Naji.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. After going through back and forward through...
Microphone, please.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You're right.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Gardner Park is a high-use sporting facility, and current lighting levels are insufficient for club-level matches and training. Installing 100 lux lighting will align the park with council standard for match practice and club level competition. Upgrading to 100 lux supports player safety, improve visibility and enhance the quality of sporting events. The upgrades ensure Gardner Park meets modern standard for all weather fields as recommended in the officer report. Early investment in higher lux lighting will future-proof the facility and reduce the need for costly retrofits later. The upgrade aligns with council broader commitment to standardising lighting level across sporting facility. With modern light technology, we can remove light spillage so neighbours and residents will be less impacted than they are now. Cloud Master booking system can manage the lighting efficiently, ensuring maximum utility without unnecessary energy use. Inclusion in the next capital works budget allows the park to meet the community expectations and support local sporting clubs. Higher lux lighting encourages increased participation in sport and supports local competitions at the community level. In the report, we've been told now, in the second report, that it's halogen lights, and within 4 years, all of the halogen lights needs to be replaced. So I suggest we do it ASAP. They recommended between 3 to 4 years. We should do it as soon as possible. And why I've got Gardner Park on the top list, because just a bit of research, the last 2 visits within not even a year, we have spent on one occasion $12,000, and another occasion, the one before, $9,000 fixing a problem that keeps occurring on those lights. And I didn't want to ask if I can get information for the last 2-3 years. The point I'm trying to make, it's costing us thousands now, and if we keep going backwards, we probably paid half of the upgrade. So without costing council furthermore, putting a business hat, from a financial point of view, the quicker we replace them, the better for the financial costing. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Naji. Councillors, any further discussion? Look, I'd just like to suggest, and perhaps with the mover and the seconder are supportive of it, that the standardisation is certainly suitable for football standards, but I don't know if councillors have read the submission put in by AFL New South Wales that this isn't actually appropriate for that sport, and we only actually have, I think, 1 or 2 fields that are used actively for AFL. Perhaps if we could just note that this should adjust based on the standard requirements for the sport rather than being one size fits all. Like just a note at the end of the motion that it should have flexibility where required. So those are obviously natural turf playing fields, but that require a higher standard of lighting for night games. Councillors, any further discussion? So sorry, has that been added? Governance? Yep, got a nod. All those in favour, all those against, declare that carried. Item CP 25.047, response to notice of motion Sister City Gilgandra. Do I have a mover and a seconder? Move Councillor Barlow, seconded Councillor Bezic. Councillor Barlow.
No, it's just that I wanted to speak on it because I have a feeling I'll be the only person in this chamber that was at the Sister City. It was Councillor Bellamy that organised this, and it was the coup. I don't know if anyone knows the history of Gilgandra with the Cooee March that commenced in 1915, and it was everyone that went to Gilgandra had an absolutely fantastic time. My husband was alive at the time. He thought it was wonderful. And we did actually, at that stage, I gather everyone in Gilgandra wouldn't have remembered it either, but they were appreciative of the fact of the income that we brought with them, and I think they came back here once. So I'm glad we're going to keep it open because it was actually quite good, and I feel that there'd be no one in this chamber that would have gone there. So it was a nice city and it was a nice weekend away. So hopefully we can keep some contact with them because it was the history of the Cooee March that we brought back into it for this.
You councillors, any further discussion? All those in favour, all those against, declare that carried. Moving to notices of motion, item 13.1, review of animal desexing services fees and long-term solutions. Move Councillor Douglas. Do I have a seconder? Second, Councillor Boudelet. Councillor Douglas.
Thank you. Across New South Wales, pounds and shelters are under pressure, with rising cost of living pressures mean many more animals are being surrendered and desexing is sometimes delayed. The result is more strays, more community complaints, more impounds and more costs to councils like ours. But we know that one desexing procedure costs far less than the cumulative cost of capture, impound, care, rehoming or in the saddest cases, euthanasia. By reviewing our fees and services, benchmarking against neighbouring councils and testing practical policy levers like subsidies and rebates, we can reduce unwanted animal litters and roaming behaviours before they start. This motion also ensures we are aligning with state-level requirements like the Office of Local Government's pound and dog attack statistics, the nuisance cat fact sheet, and the 2024 changes to pet registration laws. Finally, the proposal for a budget-neutral pilot means we can redirect a portion of our existing impound cost outlays into prevention and test whether those dollars go further when spent on desexing support. This is about smart policy, reducing costs to council, meeting our statutory obligations, and most importantly, improving animal welfare and community safety. Thank you.
Councillor Douglas, any further discussion?
Just
Councillor
a
Barlow.
question, sorry. I do have a cat who's now 16 that benefited from having the free or the cheapest desexing that was around, and it was Rockdale Council that offered it. I was having this cat for a month and I've now had her 5 years. But I don't know if that's still around. I don't know what the subsidy is that the council has to put into it, but it's still offered at some councils, and I vaguely remember I had a report on it. So I feel definitely we've got to have all animals, especially the cats, need to be desexed. And I know that there's some sort of policy or some sort of offering through councils for a cheaper desexing, and that's what it is. It's a cost that has to be reduced.
Councillor Barlow. Councillors, further discussion? All those in favour, all those against, declare that carried. Item 13.2, support for the Mayoral and Councillor Task Force supporting people seeking asylum. Move Councillor Douglas. Do I have a seconder? Seconded Councillor Kassim.
Second.
Councillor Douglas.
Thank you. As you know, I recently met on behalf of the Mayor with the Mayoral and Councillor Task Force supporting people seeking asylum, as the Mayor mentioned this in a mayoral motion last meeting. So this motion is about following up from that meeting. It's about stepping up to support fairness, inclusion and community cohesion for people seeking asylum. Since 2018, the Mayoral and Councillor Task Force has united over 40 councillors across the country alongside the Refugee Council of Australia to advocate for systemic reform. Together, they've called for practical solutions that prevent homelessness and hardship and allow people to rebuild their lives. The Albanese government has made great progress on this issue. Tens of thousands of people on temporary visas have finally been granted permanency, but for around 7,000 people affected by the failed fast-track process and many others still in limbo, uncertainty continues. Bayside is one of the top 10 New South Wales councils with bridging visa holders, and we are already a proud refugee welcome zone. Supporting this task force aligns directly with our community strategic plan and our values of compassion and inclusion. This motion simply says, let's recognise the achievements of the task force, write to ministers to show our support for their advocacy priorities, and consider what level of membership and participation is right for Bayside. It's a practical step that we can take to ensure our community stands on the side of dignity, fairness and humanity.
Councillor Douglas, any further discussion? All right, councillors.
I'd like to...
Councillor Strong.
Sorry if it's noisy here, but I'd like to amend that motion from Councillor Douglas and recommend that we become an executive member council at that rate, considering we are one of the top 10
Sorry, it's very hard to hear what you're saying, Councillor Strong.
I'd just like to recommend that we become an executive member, considering we're the top 10 bridging visa council.
I don't think you can make spending decisions without notice, Councillor Strong.
Just a recommendation.
Some feedback when I'm sure the report is given back to the committee as per the motion. Councillors, any further discussion? No, I would just like to call out, I think the SRSS funding, so resolution support funding, is a small but meaningful payment that has really collapsed over the last sort of decade. And is incredibly important for people on bridging visas. It pushes them to the margins if they don't receive it. It's not good for anyone to cut people off from society. So I'd just like to state my support for that particular aspect. Councillors, all those in favour, all those against, declare that carried. Item 13.3, investigation into installation of play equipment at Lighthorse Reserve, East Lakes. Move Councillor Curry, seconded Councillor Morrissey. Any discussion? Councillor Curry.
Thank you. just with talking to the residents of East Lakes, and it's an area where the population continues to increase, particularly now with the shopping centre being demolished and the new buildings there. And the vicinity there is a particular surrounded by a lot of high-rise in that area there, and there's a lot of young kids living in that area, and we've had some tenancy over Alf K, which has been a wonderful community asset, and we need to get some assurances around the longevity of that continuing to be a community asset. So we sort of packaged it up in looking at that whole space as part of the negotiations to government, and then also it is the only thoroughfare up under a tunnel and up to Gardeners Road as well, and connects the Slattery Place units. So, you know, just looking at that area, there might be some opportunity for safety lighting as part of her way, or so that's just come from the residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Curry. Any further discussion? All those in favour, all those against, declare that carried. Item 13.5, litter signs at Depina Reserve. Move Councillor Naji. Do I have a seconder? Second, Councillor Boudeleau. Councillor Naji.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. We need to install no litter signage across the Depina Reserve.
Councillor Naji, please, the microphone.
Believe me, I'm not doing it on purpose. Thank you.
He's got his microphone. He does have his microphone on, Councillor Brett Hart.
Okay. Thank you, Mr Mayor. We need to install no litter signage across the Depina Reserve. The Depina Reserve is one of Bayside's most loved public spaces, a place where families gather, children play, and residents come to enjoy the natural beauty of our foreshore. However, in recent months, I have received a number of complaints from residents and visitors about the growing amount of litter being left behind in the area. And also on social media, it's pretty evident, if you've seen it on social media, community groups, they're all complaining about litter in Depina Park, Depina Reserve. While it's true that most people do the right thing, there remains a small but visible number who either forget or ignore the responsibility of disposing of rubbish properly. And as we all know, it only takes a few careless acts to spoil an otherwise beautiful public space. The issue here isn't a lack of bins, it's a lack of clear reminders. Many visitors have noted that there is little or no signage reinforcing the need to use the bins provided. That's why this motion asks Council to install several no litter signs across the Depina Reserve, clearly stating no littering, fine applies in bold, a visible lettering, a warning notice, and a polite reminder to please dispose of your rubbish in the bins provided. Simple signage like this can have a powerful impact. It serves as both an education tool and deterrent, reminding people that keeping our parks clean is everyone's responsibility and that there are consequences to failing to do so. I acknowledge that Council currently uses the New South Wales Government Don't Be a Tosser campaign signage across our litter bins. However, in open areas like the Depina Reserve, additional highly visible signs placed at key entry and gathering point can complement that campaign and reinforce the message where it's needed most. By installing these signs, we will be helping to protect our foreshore environment, support our maintenance teams, and ensure that everyone can continue to enjoy a clean and welcoming Depina Reserve. I respectfully request that all your support tonight. Thank you.
Councillors, any further discussion? No. All those in favour, all those against, declare that carried. Item 13.6, review of Council's customer relationship management system. Move Councillor Morrissey, seconded Councillor Curry. Councillor Morrissey.
Thank you. I'll take the motion as read. It's just to ensure that we're providing a consistent, reliable and efficient service and responsiveness to our community. That's what council is here to do, to serve our community. We have all probably experienced when there's been some delays in responses to residents or actions, and that's okay. It may not be the fault of a human, but the CRM systems are very advanced these days and should be designed to support the staff in their daily tasks, which is to serve the community efficiently. So what we're asking for is a report to see if the system, if the current CRM is meeting current expectations and standards, and the report come back within 4 months to highlight if there's any recommendations to improve the current system. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Morrissey. Any further discussion? All those in favour, all those against, declare that carried. Item 13.7, fairy lights along Burke Road along the train station and business facade. Move Councillor Boudelay, seconded Councillor Kassim. Councillor Boudelay.
Just very quickly, I think council here has been a victim of its own success with the Herway project in Laycock Walk. There's been some nice lighting along Botany Road in Memorial Park. Again, you've seen it in parts of Mascot. I think there's a good opportunity here to see what else we can do around the Meriton side of Mascot. It is very much a concrete jungle. I note council potentially doesn't own many assets in the area, but I think it's important to see what we could do to spruik up that area. It is very bare bones, very lacking any kind of colour. So this is really just to seek a report to come back to council in the first quarter 2026 to see what options there are that we could push forward on improving that specific area. Thank you.
Councillor Boudelay. Any further discussion? All those in favour, all those against, declare that carried. Item 13.8, AI-enabled road defect detection technology. Moved Councillor Naji, seconded. Do I have a seconder? Seconded Councillor Boudelay. Councillor Naji.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll put this motion forward tonight on AI asset condition assessment. To propose that Bayside Council formally explores further participation in this innovative program led by Transport for New South Wales. As I understand it, council already participated in a preliminary trial regarding this technology, but it is important that council and councillors understand the importance of this initiative, and we as council start looking at this for the long term. As many of us know, maintaining our road network is one of the most resource-intensive responsibilities of local government. Traditionally, councils have relied on manual inspections to identify road defects such as potholes, cracks, faded line marking and damaged signage. While effective to an extent, this process can sometimes be slow, reactive and heavily dependent on staff time and residents' reports. The Assets AI initiative, developed in partnership between Transport for New South Wales and the ACT, and several participation councils uses artificial intelligence and sensor technology to completely modernise this process. Through dash-mounted cameras and sensors on council vehicles, the system automatically detects and classifies road defects as they occur, assessing severity of prioritising maintenance based on a risk-based scoring system. In essence, it turns our everyday fleet into a mobile inspection team, capturing real-time data to help us respond proactively rather than reactively. Results from other councils involved in the trials have been extremely encouraging. According to Transport for New South Wales, participating councils have reported up to 75% reduction in inspection time through automated data collection, up to 30% savings in patching costs through early intervention and proactive maintenance, improved road safety through faster detection and priorities of defects, and greater operational efficiency with more frequent inspections achieved without increased staff workloads. Beyond these practical benefits, the program also supports environmental sustainability by using existing vehicles for data collection and strengthens data sharing between councils and Transport for New South Wales, improving coordination on state and local road networks. For Bayside, participating in Asset AI presents an opportunity to reduce customer complaints through the faster maintenance responses, extend the lifespan of our assets with early identification of issues, save ratepayers dollars through smarter resource allocation, and ensure we remain at the forefront of smart city and infrastructure innovation. This motion calls for Council to receive a presentation at a Works and Asset Committee meeting in early 2026 to outline the costs, software requirements, training, insurance implications and legal consideration should Bayside wish to move forward with this technology. Like I said earlier, Council has already conducted some preliminary trial on this, but it is important we see the results so we can look at a longer term solution. Mr. Mayor, this is about future-proofing our infrastructure and ensuring Bayside Council embraces the tools that will help us maintain safer, more efficient and more sustainable roads for our community. I ask my fellow councillors to support this. Thank you.
Councillors, further discussion? Look, I'd probably just have a question for Mr. Barber, because I do think it's worth acknowledging the fantastic work being done across the City Futures and City Presentation directorates. If to tell us a little bit more about the great work they've been doing.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As Councillor Nagi said, we have used this technology to do our most recent assessment of the condition of roads and footpaths. And so for that, we had vehicles driving around the whole of the LGA using cameras and AI technology to identify defects and the general condition of our roads. Then it helps us program our annual road resheeting program and repairs as well. The next step would be to look at attaching this technology to vehicles generally that are driving around, things like street sweepers that are on the road every day, going up and down every street. And that's something that we've considered doing, but haven't progressed at this stage. There are some challenges around the amount of data that's captured and Council's ability to respond to that. And as with all new technology, there is a development phase there where some of the kinks need to be ironed out, but still something worth looking at. It definitely was beneficial for our most recent condition assessment exercise, so definitely technology that's worth looking at.
Thank you, Mr. Barber. Councillors, all those in favour? All those against? Declare that carried. Item 13.9, towing of vehicles obstructing driveways. Moved Councillor Boudeleau, seconded Councillor Morrissey. Councillor Boudeleau.
I'll just be quick. I'll probably get in trouble here, but I think Darcy's doing some great stuff for the Inner West Council. I think this specifically is something we need to look at. Need permission to say that. Yeah, I think that's something to look at. There's been a lot of feedback on social media on one particular post, nearly 300 likes, 200 comments. So there's definitely some interest for us to look at this. This is specifically obviously looking at private driveways being blocked, potentially cars blocking across footpaths as well, which seems to be another issue. This is obviously asking for us to look at the effectiveness of the Inner West Council's program and then to come back to Council early next year to see whether we want to have our own policy as well. So, thank you.
Councillor Boudeleau, further discussion? I'm sure it's a well-supported motion. I think you bring it to Council. All those in favour, all those against, declare it carried. Item 13.10, red light speed cameras at various intersections along Stony Creek Road. Moved Councillor Barlow. Do I have a seconder? Seconded Councillor Awada. Councillor Barlow.
Just I've got to change. It's got installation red light speed camera intersection of Stony Creek Road. I've got to go down further. Where's the rest of it? Oh, here. And it's intersection of Stony Creek Road and Preddy's Road, Bexley, and intersection and Medway Street and Stony Creek Road, and Walleye Creek Road and Forest Road, Arncliffe. That should be read.
We got that governance.
Yeah, we'll put that.
Yep. All right.
Forest Road, Arncliffe there.
I'm sure that governance will have that noted down.
Yeah, I
So
can
it's
never remember
Walleye
it's
Creek
Walleye.
Road and Forest Road, Arncliffe, instead in place of Walleye Street and Stony Creek Road,
Yeah, it's
Kingsgrove.
the same, yeah, and down the bottom. So, and the reason I've done this is because it's just, I've been standing on the corner of Stony Creek Road and Forest Road outside the Forest Inn many times. I think Councillor Wilder was the mayor at one time. I think Councillor Curry was the mayor. I think she stood on that corner. I'm not sure. Former Councillor Sarah Vanovsky stood on the corner many times. We asked for it was Andrew Constant. No one would turn up, except then we had the new Premier, and we actually need to, and the Minister for Sport, he's the Minister, Rockdale, and we need to be able to do something with it because you've got to make it unattractive for them to go through there. So if they go through a red light camera, it's going to cost them more money than it would if it were on the M5. So I just wanted to see if we could start the process because I asked for this. When was this? June 2024, with some page in the Leader, and we still haven't got anywhere. I think we're slowly getting there. I found out that Transport New South Wales are very, very slow. It takes 6 months to whatever. I asked for a change of outside the Arncliffe Youth Centre. It's all no stopping. That's 6 months on the line. I think they're actually going to change it so you can park outside there during the day. So I'm just hoping that the current government at the time can start looking at it because there has to be something done for that area, and one way is trying to make it not so nice. It would be nice if they could open the M5 again because that made Bexley, but it looks like it's been sold and I don't think we can afford to buy it back.
Councillor Barlow, any further discussion, councillors? No, all those in favour?
Can you hear me now? Just a quick one. Yeah, I think it might be good to swap points 1 and 2. So the studies of the traffic is coming before the leper writing section, but other than that, I think it's a great initiative.
I assume you'll use that existing data and so on to inform correspondence. Yep. Thanks, Councillor Strong. All those in favour? All those against? Declare that carried. Questions with notice. We have a question submitted by Councillor Barlow, which has been noted. Councillors, any further questions? Oh, sorry, I don't have those.
Sorry, I've submitted two directly to the...
We got those, yep. Anybody else? No. Very good. There being no further matters, declare the meeting closed at 9:27 p.m.